Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to a new YouTube video. Today we're going to be diving into the brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max. I picked this phone up about 3 weeks ago now in this beautiful natural titanium color, and I've been loving using this phone so far. I wanted to make a video today kind of detailing some of my favorite features and just the overall kind of experience using the phone. And more importantly, actually what I've been able to shoot with this phone, because I think that's why, a lot of you are here watching this video. I wouldn't say this is going to be a very feature-driven video per se. This is more my perspective as a photographer and filmmaker using this phone on a daily basis and giving you guys kind of the lowdown of what the cameras can do and kind of how it fits into my workflow as a photographer and also running this YouTube channel. So to put it simply, the iPhone 15 Pro Max honestly is quite a game changer, especially if you shoot a lot of video and photos on your phone. I think otherwise it seems to me that the upgrades are pretty negligible for most people, but I think in the camera department there are some pretty big features that really got a bump or just announced this year that are very exciting, and I definitely want to talk about those today. So starting things off with the video capabilities of this new phone, I think the most exciting feature overall is the ability to shoot log footage now with the new iPhone 15 Pro. And for those of you who don't know, log is essentially a color profile that you can shoot, and it shoots an extremely flat image. So when you import it into your editing program, you're able to add all of the color, all of the contrast, and everything else you want back into the photo. It's not quite like shooting raw, but it's a lot better than the alternative, which has already Apple's colors and sharpness already baked into the image. And the log footage is also able to be shot in ProRes, which is a very high quality video format and one that looks honestly stunning with the new iPhone 15 Pro. So I've actually gone ahead and pretty extensively tested the video capabilities when I went on a trip last week out to Yosemite and Mammoth. Me and my girlfriend and a few friends, we went out to Yosemite for a few days and also to Mammoth to see some fall colors. And I brought along the new iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I shot quite a bit of log ProRes footage. I actually made a short film about this. If you guys want to check that out, I'll leave it linked down below. But overall, the footage looks honestly incredible. I didn't really expect footage from a phone to look this good, and I think that's why I like it so much, is because it doesn't really feel like it's shot on a phone. I think this is the first iPhone where I feel like I'm shooting video footage that actually could look kind of professional. And to someone like myself who's quite the quality nerd, I just can't really sacrifice the quality, especially here on this YouTube channel. I really want the image to look beautiful in my photos and in my videos, and being able to shoot this extremely high quality footage now is such a massive game changer, especially when I'm taking this traveling. So there are a lot of different use cases now for the log footage and how I can implement that into my workflow as a photographer and as a YouTuber. The ability now to just kind of lace in different footage as I'm talking about a certain trip or a certain shoot, it just makes it so much better, and it makes the videos feel a lot more complete, which is going to be very exciting for new videos and new trips here in the future. I will say that the footage does take up quite a bit of space, but with the ability now to actually shoot to an external SSD, that's pretty exciting if you really need to do that. I actually went ahead and just picked up the most expensive and kind of the highest capacity version. Obviously, it's pretty pricey, but having 1 terabyte of internal storage allows me to shoot several hours of ProRes log footage. And with that, I don't have to worry about any sort of external SSD or plugging in cables to my phone, because when I'm shooting with my phone, I want it to be as simple as possible. That's why I'm shooting on it. To just keep it really streamlined, all I have to do is just open the camera and press record. So with the ability now to shoot that much footage internally and offload it pretty quickly via USB-C, is really, really exciting, and there's a lot of, I think, potential use cases for this. Speaking of USB-C, this is also something I'm very excited about. It doesn't really have anything to do with shooting video per se, but there are a lot of external accessories and ways of using the USB-C port now that are very exciting. I did actually see during Apple's keynote that there's the possibility and potential to actually tether your iPhone now via Capture One, which I think is pretty wild. We live in a world now where you can actually tether your iPhone to the computer. For those of you who don't know what tethering is, you basically plug in your phone or camera directly into your computer, and via Capture One, you're able to actually shoot photos, and they will kind of populate on the computer screen as you're taking them. On a lot of the jobs I shoot now, I'm definitely tethered for the most part, so it's kind of wild to see a feature like that actually appear on a phone. I could see this being very useful for certain people, especially if you're shooting in a studio environment and you want to see the photos instantly. You're able to apply and edit to these pretty quickly. I myself probably won't be using this too much overall, but it's a pretty wild feature nonetheless. Now, on the still side of things, this is something that I'm also pretty excited about. I would say overall, the image quality looks pretty similar to last year's model. I did have the iPhone 14 Pro, and I don't see a massive jump in the overall image quality from that one. I will say the photos do seem a little bit more crisp, but that just could be a placebo, to be honest. Apple did introduce a 48 megapixel sensor now, which obviously in theory should mean better images and better quality overall. I don't notice a massive difference, I would say. If anything, there's a little bit more added sharpness, but overall, I think the actual kind of standard 1x image looks pretty similar to last year's model. I do think that the RAW images play a little bit better in Lightroom now. I don't actually shoot RAW very often on my phone. I just don't really find the use for it very often. I think the JPEGs or the HEIC files look honestly wonderful, and I'm able to edit those pretty easily. Again, with the phone, it's all about simplicity and just kind of getting the best product as easy as possible. And so the ability, obviously, to shoot RAW is great, but I've only ever shot it really a few times, and I haven't noticed like the real need to do that very often. I think if I was shooting more professional things or professional jobs on my phone, I would definitely consider shooting RAW more often. But the few RAW photos that I have taken on this phone, they look great. The big upgrade, I think, for me, honestly, is the addition of the 5x zoom, and this is pretty exciting for me. I love telephoto focal lengths. I shoot them a lot on my medium format cameras, on my digital cameras. I think the addition of the 5x zoom is probably what I'm most excited about with this new setup. This is why I bought the Pro Max versus the iPhone 15 Pro, the standard version. I wanted to try out that 5x zoom and really see what it's capable of, and I have to say, it's pretty wild what you can do now. It's a 5x optical zoom, so you're getting 120 millimeter equivalent focal length, and that's plenty of focal length to really shoot whatever you need and anything in between. There are also 1.2 and I believe 1.5x modes that you can kind of tap through on the 1x button, which is great. I would say I mainly stick to the 1, 2, and 5x zoom options, but the 5x is just pretty fun. Honestly, it's a new focal length to mess around with. I've never really been too much of a fan of the ultra wide camera, to be honest, so I'm definitely gravitating a lot more towards the telephoto image. I will say it takes a little bit longer than you're used to with a phone, especially an iPhone, to focus properly, but overall the quality of it is pretty impressive. I took some cool photos in Yosemite with the 5x, and these look really, really cool. I haven't taken a ton of portraits yet or used portrait mode. Again, I don't really use these modes too much, but I have seen some great results from some other people. I'm definitely going to play around with that a little bit more and potentially make a video about shooting portraits with the new phone as well. But mainly, I think I'm looking at this phone through the lens of kind of just enhancing what I'm already doing. I capture photos of my life, I shoot videos, and all those things are going to be really easy to do with this brand new phone. One other tidbit that I think is really nice is actually this action button on the side of the phone. And what it allows you to do is kind of map it to whatever setting you might want to use. So I've actually mapped it to shooting video, especially when I'm out traveling or I'm on a shoot and I want to get a quick clip of me shooting or whatnot, or some behind the scenes. I'm able to tap that. I can also press the ProRes log button at the top. And within 2 taps, I'm shooting really high quality ProRes footage without any sort of external apps or anything like that. There's obviously other apps that you can be using to get the most out of your iPhone, shooting at correct shutter speeds, using ND filters, all that stuff. But again, I'm trying to keep this really simple. So I think me using the action button to actually be able to shoot video within 1 click is very helpful. And I've actually been using that quite often. So overall, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, pretty impressive to say the least. I think especially in the video department. I think if you shoot a lot of video on your phone and you can see yourself using the ProRes log footage, this might be a great pickup for you. Or if you really enjoy, kind of different focal lengths and you want to use the 5x zoom, that kind of stuff is great. USB-C, I don't really think is necessarily worth an upgrade from a previous phone, but I do think if you're some sort of creative and those creative camera features and new ways of shooting entice you, this could be a nice pickup for anybody out there. Truly, I think this is a very niche upgrade for a lot of people. For myself, shooting these YouTube videos, this is going to be a really nice upgrade for me. But I think for most people out there, I don't see the reason to shoot log footage or anything like that, or raw photos. I don't see there being a massive upgrade for most people, especially from the last couple of years. I really can't remember the last time that I was this excited about using a new phone. And again, it's only been a couple of weeks, so this may die down. But overall, the quality of the footage is really impressive, and it's high quality enough for me to be able to throw into any sort of YouTube video and really take the place of a camera sometimes, which is really exciting to me. On the still side of things, using the 5x zoom has been really fun. The overall clarity and sharpness just continues to get better with every iteration of the iPhone, and I am very pleased, to say the least, with everything. If you guys want to check out some of the images I've shot, I'll leave the link down to that to my website. And also, if you want to check out the short film that I shot entirely on the new 15 Pro Max, I will also leave that linked down below. Before this video wraps up, I do want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. All this talk about images and videos, you're going to need a great place to display all of this at some point. And I do think Squarespace is the best way to really make a great creative website. Everything from e-commerce tools to booking appointments to selling products to making beautiful gallery pages and having different sections for different kinds of work that you might shoot. Squarespace makes it very easy to organize all of your work and everything else that you want to be doing all on one website that's easy to find and easy to navigate for anyone looking. I've been using Squarespace now for about as long as I can remember, and I can't recommend them enough for anyone looking to get started, or even if you're an established professional, they're a great place to kind of get the ball rolling and make a brand new website. If you guys want to check out Squarespace for yourself, there'll be a link down in the description to receive 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you guys for watching. See you next week.